Imagine this scenario. A credit card company or a medical collection agency files a lawsuit against you. You missed the court date because you were overwhelmed, or maybe you went to court but lost because the debt was technically yours. A few weeks later, an official document arrives from the county courthouse stamped with the word judgment. Your mind immediately flies into a tailspin of absolute terror. You find yourself asking, can they just show up at my house tomorrow with a police officer and start carting away my television, my furniture, and my computer? Can they lock me out of my personal bank accounts, take my hard-earned savings, or legally slice into my weekly paycheck? That fear is extremely common and intentionally amplified by aggressive debt collection tactics. But the actual legal limits of what creditors can do are very different from what most people are told. There is an immense amount of terrifying misinformation circulating online regarding asset seizure. Debt collectors deliberately use vague, aggressive language to make you think they have the power to strip you bare overnight. Hi, I'm Sean Quinlan, a consumer protection and bankruptcy specialist here in Pennsylvania. Today, we are conducting a definitive deep dive into Pennsylvania asset law. We are going to look at exactly what a judgment creditor can and cannot touch under the explicit statutes of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, explore our state's unique exemptions, and show you exactly how to protect your property from aggressive collections. Once you understand the real rules, the panic starts to fade and clarity takes over. Most people are far more protected than they realize under Pennsylvania law. Let's start with some incredible news that will immediately lower your blood pressure. If you live in Pennsylvania, you reside in one of the absolute best states in the entire country when it comes to specific foundational debtor protections. Our state legislature enacted specific boundaries that prevent ordinary creditors from completely destroying your livelihood. Let's look at the absolute reality of paycheck protection. These protections exist to ensure that a single financial setback does not erase your entire life, and they form the foundation of everything we are about to break down. Section 2. Paycheck protection, the Pennsylvania wage garnishment ban. Let's address the single biggest fear first, wage garnishment. In many states across America, if a credit card company or a personal loan company wins a lawsuit against you, they can instantly send an order to your employer commanding them to legally deduct up to 25% of your net paycheck every single week before the money ever hits your account. This is one of the strongest wage protection systems in the United States. It means your paycheck remains under your direct control for most consumer debts. There are only 4 very specific, high-priority exceptions where wage garnishment is legally permitted in Pennsylvania. Past due child support or alimony arrears, federal, state, or local taxes owed to the government, federal student loans in default, judgments for unpaid residential rent or physical damage to a landlord's property. If an ordinary collection agency or credit card representative calls your phone or sends a text message threatening to garnish your paycheck or contact your human resources department to attach your income for a standard credit card debt, they are committing a severe violation of the federal FDCPA and committing statutory fraud. Many people are pressured into fear-based decisions because they don't know this rule. Knowing your rights completely changes the power dynamic. Section 3, the danger zone, bank account levies and real estate liens. Now, does this mean you are completely safe if a creditor gets a judgment against you in Pennsylvania? Absolutely not. While your paycheck is protected at the source, the moment that money is direct deposited into your personal bank checking or savings account, it enters the danger zone. If a creditor wins a judgment in a Pennsylvania court, they can file a legal maneuver known as a bank account levy. They serve an official writ of execution on your bank, whether it's PNC, Citizens, Wells Fargo, or a local credit union. The moment the bank receives that writ, they are legally required to instantly freeze every single dollar in your account up to the full amount of the judgment debt. Your debit card will stop working, your automated mortgage and utility payments will bounce, and you will be completely locked out of your own cash. The creditor can then petition the court to have those frozen funds turned over to them to satisfy the debt. This is often the first moment people realize how serious a judgment can become. Unlike wage garnishment, this happens quickly and without ongoing notice. What about your home? If a creditor wins a judgment in a Pennsylvania Court of Common Pleas, that judgment automatically acts as a legal lien against any real estate you own within that county. That means if you try to sell your house or refinance your mortgage, you cannot close the deal without paying off that creditor in full from your proceeds. However, we must return to Pennsylvania's magnificent marital protection, tenancy by the entireties. If you are married and you own your home jointly with your spouse, but the judgment debt belongs to you alone, that judgment lien cannot attach to or affect the property. The creditor cannot force a sale of your marital home, and they cannot freeze a joint bank account that contains your spouse's income. Ownership structure can completely change your level of protection under the law. This is why legal review of your assets is so important after a judgment. Section 4. Physical property and the bankruptcy shield. Let's answer the question about your physical stuff, your couch, your computer, your clothes. Can they take them? Under Pennsylvania state law, every resident has a statutory exemption of exactly $300 for personal property under 42 PACS section 8123. That is a laughably low number that hasn't been updated in decades. Technically, a sheriff could inventory your personal property, but in the real world, creditors almost never attempt to seize used household furniture or electronics. Why? Because the cost of hiring a mover, storing the items, advertising a sheriff's sale, and auctioning off a used sofa results in zero profit for the creditor. It is a logistical nightmare. In practice, most household items are not worth the legal cost to seize, but bank accounts and real estate remain far more realistic targets. But if you have significant funds in an individual bank account, or if a creditor has placed an active lien against your home, how do you wipe out that judgment and protect your property permanently? You use the federal bankruptcy shield. The moment we file a Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 bankruptcy petition, the automatic stay instantly unfreezes your bank accounts. It strips the creditor's ability to execute that levy. Furthermore, under Section 522F of the Bankruptcy Code, your attorney can file a special motion to legally avoid and completely remove judgment liens from your primary residence, transforming a scary judicial lien back into wiped out debt. Bankruptcy does not erase your life. It reorganizes and protects it. For many people, it is the legal tool that restores financial stability. Section 5. Summary and Local Strategy Call. Understanding exactly what creditors can actually take from you in Pennsylvania is your absolute best defense against intimidation. Knowledge is the first layer of protection against financial fear. Action is what prevents temporary problems from becoming permanent damage. If you have been sued by a creditor, if you are staring at an official judgment from a magisterial district judge, or if you are terrified that your bank account is about to be frozen, do not wait for the catastrophe to happen. The earlier you act, the more options you still have available. Waiting often limits the legal tools that can protect you. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more Pennsylvania legal protection tips, and drop any questions in the comments. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.